Oh, man. Me and Ron just shared a good chuckle. I'm not going to tell you what about, though. Anyhow. Okay, so here's here's a topic. I was sharing this with one of my sales reps earlier. So this will be about time management and being relaxed in life and really just each day approaching the day in a relaxed fashion, driven fashion, that sort of thing. And so one of my reps was talking about being overwhelmed and I got a lot going on. So, we hear that a lot. You're like, I got a lot of things to do. And I've totally experienced this many times. And I'd be viewed as I'm viewed as somebody who's like effective at time management. But I even lapse, which I don't think we'll ever avoid it, okay? So it's just catching it and saying, you know what, I don't need to be stressed out. And that's lesson number one. It's making the decision to be relaxed and yet highly productive and accomplish and follow whatever plan you have each day. I know that was kind of long-winded, but it's making up our mind. Like, this is how it will be. Screw this, excuse my language. I am not going to be freaking overwhelmed anymore, all right? It's like, enough. It's like giving yourselves that whole uncle, and like somebody's like doing tickle torture when you're a little kid, and you're like, uncle, So it's like, say uncle to yourself, darn it. So it's like, uncle, I give up, all right? I'm done being overwhelmed and stressed out. So I basically said that to her. I go, listen, and not in the exact words, but this is what I was effectively communicating, which is, hey, enough's enough. Just take responsibility for coming up with a plan, following that plan, and being like ridiculously powerful, competent, confident as we approach each day, tackle each day. I almost want to say tackle because you get the point though. So that's number one. Make the decision. Here's how it'll be. Number two is take a look at when we say we have a lot to do. Lately, I've been really reviewing this heavily. No matter what, there's always 24 hours in a day. No matter what. That's it. So we're always going to do 24 hours worth of activity, 24 hours worth of things. So for us to say a lot, I have a lot going on today, I'm like, you have the same 24 hours worth of stuff that you'd have if you were chilling on a beach in like Bermuda. All right? It's the same thing. You're still going to do 24 hours worth of things. So that would be another lesson, another pointer. Is let's just take a look at each day. We have 24 hours worth of things that we are going to do. We are going to fill 24 hours a day worth of activity. So if I choose to view it as a lot, it's only going to impact me in a negative way and get in my way. It's only going to cause stress and anxiety. And then if I'm stressed, attempting to do different things, it's going to take me longer to do them, than it would be if I was like loose and relaxed. Same thing goes with athletics and sports. So that's, again, tip number two is let's, 24 hours a day, there's 24 hours worth of things we'll do. There's not a lot, there's not a little, there's 24 hours worth of things. Okay, I've beaten that concept to death. So what I shared with her is let's get more organized and plan out more effectively. Let's be more detailed with what we're going to do each day. And I find that if we feel like we're running out of time, when I say that, it means I'm deciding to be or I'm perceiving myself as running out of time. I've made up my mind. I'm running out of time. And I find two major sources of stress are running out of time, and that's not a real thing. Again, I'm careful with my words. Perceiving myself as running out of time. Let me switch hands. Oh, shoulder pain. All right, and then perceiving myself as running out of money. That would be another, source of stress. There's multiple ones, but I find those are two common ones. Running out of time, running out of money, but they're self-imposed. Because if I were to ask somebody, well, tell me about your day tomorrow. What's the starting point, the ending point of each thing, each event, each activity? Is it totally mapped out? And if not, that's why we feel like we're running out of time or we're perceiving ourselves that way. And I share with her, I go, could you imagine cloning yourself? Like you can create a twin version of yourself. And you see this in funny comedies and funny movies where they like make a clone of themselves because they can get a lot more done in a day. And I said, could you imagine if there was a clone of you and you couldn't speak to them, but you had to hand them your activity plan, your plan of action steps. So it's a schedule, but I call it an activity plan. If you had to hand that to them, and would they know exactly where to go, start point, end point? Would it factor an appropriate travel time? Would it just say study, because that's vague, or would it actually say, here's how many pages I'm reading, knowing how long it takes you to read that many pages? Would it say exactly when you're doing laundry, knowing how long it would take you to do laundry? Would it say when you're going to the gym, knowing how long it's going to take you at the gym? Would it say when your favorite TV show is, knowing how long that favorite TV show is? So it's a whole variety of things. And if the activity plan wouldn't tell that person exactly what to do, then consider it's incomplete. And therefore, that's why we're feeling like we're running out of time or we're stressed out. I shared with her also, listen, if I took a schedule for you tomorrow and I said, here's exactly here's your 24 hours, you're going to sleep from here to here, this time to this time, you're going to go to the gym from this time to this time, you're going to go to class from this time to this time, you're going to work from this time to this time, you're going to read this many pages from this time to this time, you're going to watch TV from this time to this time, you're going to make this phone call from this time to this time. And I go, would you be stressed out? She's like, no. I go, then just do that for yourself. Okay? Because it would already be scripted out. There would be no uncertainty, vague. I don't know what's going on. There would be no like darkness to it. It wouldn't be like walking around in a dark room saying, I don't know, I have the blindfold on. So, what can we do? Let's take a look at, again, summing this whole thing up. I know that there's 24 hours in a day, 160 hours in a week. Let's stay away from concluding there's a lot or a little that I have going on, and there's just 24 hours worth of stuff each day, 160 hours worth of stuff for the whole week. Let's make up our minds that we will be relaxed and approach things in a way that we'll be able to be confident and, again, relaxed. And last but not least, let's make sure our activity plan is detailed enough that if somebody else had to follow it, they'd be able to know where to go. So let's capture things, time and space, which requires knowing the action, but then also knowing start point, end point, duration, that sort of thing. And let's factor in also travel time in between each, And to me, and then that way it's like an assembly manual. Whereas normally we approach it like an assembly manual missing a couple of pages. So how the heck are we going to build a desk if we're missing some pages? Enjoy.